What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today we're coming at you with another deck list, deck profile, deck update, whatever you like to call it. And this is our Watt deck / direct attack deck for November 2024. Now, I did do my previous profile on this a while back, and we've kind of headed more in the Watt direction, but there's lots of ways to take a direct attack deck. And if you know me, this is some of my favorite kind of monster, kind of gimmick is direct attack. So we'll get straight into it. Of course, I say it's kind of Watty because there is a lot of Watt plays in here, but it can be varied up. Of course, we got 3 Watt Giraffe. It's a very good card. This card can attack your opponent directly. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, your opponent cannot activate spells, traps, spell/trap effects, or monster card effects until the end phase of this turn. So this is a great little combo piece when you're trying to do big damage. You got 2 monsters out on the field. Usually people aren't reading your cards, and what you can do is boost up something else, maybe with a Mage Power, Psychic Blade, whatever card you choose to use, and then attack with this first, get its attack through, and then with your second monster that they would probably use something to stop, you can now get through because they can't activate anything until the end of your turn. So he's a great little piece. Next, we got 3 Watt Cobra. This is another great piece. It can attack directly as well. It's got 1,000 attack. And when it inflicts damage by a direct attack, you can add 1 Watt monster from your deck to your hand. So one combo you can kind of do that I don't have in the deck is maybe get a Rive Arrivals going, so you can just bring out that monster as soon as you get it. Because, of course, Rive Arrivals is a quick play spell. But, of course, this is nice to bring out. It's good to have and just keep bringing it, get extra monsters in your hand for future plays, or for some of the other stuff that we have in the deck. One of the newer cards here that we got is Watt Tuna. Now, this is just a great piece. This card can attack directly, and you can only use each of the following effects of Watt Tuna once per turn. At the end of the damage step, if your monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon this card from your hand. So you can maybe use it with a combo of course, Watt Cobra, and if you had something else, you could bring it out and then go in again, or maybe if you had something to attack twice with Watt Cobra, different combos. But what you want to do is special summon this card from your hand, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you contribute this card on the field and one or more non-tuner monsters from your hand and or face-up field, and special summon 1 Watt Synchro monster from your extra deck whose levels are equal to the total levels. So this is a great play to get into the Watt Synchro monsters that can attack directly, so you can just keep extending those direct attack plays. And of course, monsters from the hand, so another thing you could use Watt Cobra for to get a monster for that, if you didn't want to get rid of the Watt Cobra on field, or whatever you have on field. So he's a great little piece. Next, we are running 2 Goblin Black Ops. This is just one of your heavy hitters, you know. Goblin Black Ops can attack directly, and if it does, it's changed to defense position at the end of the battle phase. Now, one combo you can kind of do is there's Watt Pheasant, and it can attack directly, and when it does, it can remove from play 1 monster until the end phase. So you can set up kind of a combo where you attack with Goblin Black Ops and have it get rid of him, and then you can bring him back. But it's almost better to have him go into defense, because then that way he can't be hit. But of course it is until the turn after it's happened, until your next turn. Next, we got 2 Marshmallow. Some of these last little monsters can be easily swapped out. I just have these in for more stall piece / a little bit of burn damage. It's just 1,000 when he gets attacked face down. We have a Rainbow Karibo. When an opponent's monster declares attack, you can equip this, and it can't attack. You can equip it from your hand. And when an opponent's monster declares an attack while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Not the best play, but it's just something I have in there in lieu of maybe another Battle Fader, which is, of course, just more stall pieces. Because a lot of the time you can, since you're going in for that direct attack damage, it doesn't really matter what they have on their field too much. So if you can just stall out for 1 more turn, you can maybe go in with another Watt combo or some of the equipped plays. But that wraps up the monsters. Next, for some more newer stuff, we got the Watt Kingdom, and this is a great little piece. It's your opponent cannot activate the effects of a monster that activate when it is normal or special summoned while it is in the same column as this card or a Watt monster you control. So that can be a pretty decent spread, and it can shut down a lot of stuff. And you can target one Watt monster you control and special summon one Watt monster with a different name from your deck. Then you lose life points equal to its attack. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except Thunder monsters. So, of course, it locks you into the more Watty stuff, but that's okay because we don't really do much other special summoning, at least with this particular setup. But you can always get, like, Spell Striker and stuff in there if you're trying to get some other special summons, plus some other cards I'll show at the end. We got 2 Mage Power. Of course, this is just a great little way to boost your monsters, plus we get a lot of traps and other spells and such, so it can get up to pretty high stuff. Another cool little combo you can do is if you have a field spell. We used to have the Seal of Orichalcos before we added some extra deck monsters, but if you have a field spell, that can actually count towards the spell and trap as well, so you can get the 25 that you get from your main 5, plus up to 3,000 from your field spell, which a lot of people don't really think about. So it's another decent little boost. Psychic Blade, thinking about trading out or trying out some different stuff, because there is a card that's like, you can give, I think it's a normal summon monster, 1500 attack or something. It's just a one-time spell card. I don't know if it was a normal summon to 100% or not, but there is other cards to get good attack, and this can be a little bit damaging in the life points, which is kind of clashing with the Watt Kingdom a bit. But it is still a good way to get up some damage and to kind of hit a particular amount of damage because you can choose in values of 100. Next, we got, 1 United We Stand. This is just, it can be traded out for, of course, some of the other equips or whatever stuff. I like to try it, but you don't usually have too many monsters on the field at once. If it was a bit more monster kind of spammy, or if you were maybe using Scapegoat or something like that, you could combo, so you have a lot of stall power, plus United We Stand. There's a lot of ways to take it. We're running 2 swords. I'd recommend maybe Wabaku, or, anything pretty much better. This is just some stall power in lieu of, trying to find something a little bit better, and we're just kind of working on the ratios of plays. And for some of our one-offs, we got the Harpy's Feather Duster, a Monster Reborn, and a Raigeki. Of course, for the less common stuff, you could just throw in, something, a Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole if you want, or just more equipped stuff. Lots of different ways to take that. Moving into the traps, we have 3 Storming Mirror Force. Use a lot of different Mirror Forces just for monster removal and such, and of course you can switch it out for Quaking, Drowning, try them in different ratios, as well as maybe singular hits like Compulse and stuff like that. But the Storming, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, return all your opponent's monsters, attack position monsters to the hand. So this can be pretty good because a lot of the time they might have effects going off in the graveyard. So it's a good little alternative. Next, we're running 3 Blazing. I'd recommend maybe taking this down to 2, just because you don't want to, you maybe don't want to see 2 of them. And also, like I said, it can clash with the Psychic Blade, as well as the Watt Kingdom plays. But it's when an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy as many attack position monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, take damage equal to half the combined original attack of all those monsters and that were destroyed, and then inflict that damage to your opponent. So obviously, if it's enough to kill you, you're going to die first. But you got to work with that stuff, but it's a great little burn damage card. And plus just monster removal, plus it kind of fits the spam we have going of the Mirror Forces. And we have, like I was saying, 2 more normal Mirror Forces, just destroys attack position monsters when they declare an attack. Classic stuff. A lot of this can be swapped out for different removal and a lot of different tech. And of course, open to suggestions. We got the Compulse, remove or send one back to hand. A Magic Cylinder, just to kind of go with the burn damage. Some good timed stuff. You could maybe hit a Blazing and then hit one of these and get game. Next, a Ring of Destruction. Same kind of techniques. Some removal / some good damage. Lastly, a Divine Wrath. This could be switched out for anything. Just kind of a nice little tech piece, and I love this card. It's an old classic. But you discard 1 card from hand and negate the activation of an effect monster's effect, and destroy that effect monster. You know, obviously the solemns and stuff like that, this is kind of the fill-in for that, because we don't want to be using life points as much. And that's pretty much the main run-through of the deck. Like I said, we do have a little bit of extra deck sauce. It's just the Watt Kaiuki, but this is a pretty good play. There is 2 other Watt extra deck monsters that can attack directly, and you definitely want to get those just because of how they pop off with this. As you can see, he's got 1600 attack, which isn't the best, but if you're already popping off with like a Watt Cobra and the Tuna, you're hitting for 1800 probably already then if you're not boosting, then another 1600 for him because he can attack directly. And when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you can shuffle both one Watt Tuner from your graveyard and one face-up non-tuner Thunder monster you control into the deck, and if you do, special summon one Watt Synchro monster from your extra deck. So if you got the plays lined up and you know the right stuff going, you can bring out another Watt Synchro in that same battle phase and hit again and get that damage up even higher. So there's a lot of crazy plays you can go off with the Watt kind of direct attack stuff, and I think mixing it with the sauce of some of the classic-y stuff really helps improve it. And there's still a lot of work room. So like I said, give me suggestions. Tell me what you want to see in the deck or what different alleys I could take, alleyways, routes. Some other cards I was thinking about throwing in the deck or working with is Red-Haired Hasty Horse. If there's no cards, or if there's a column with no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position to that zone in that column. And you can only special summon him once per, or Red-Haired Hasty Horse once per turn. And if this card is, if another card is placed in that card's column, destroy this card. But once per turn, you can have this card's original attack. And for the rest of the turn, if you do, it can attack directly. So he could just be another way to get in an easy 1000. Yeah, he's removable really quickly, but that's kind of almost good because if they're attacking into it, you could just get rid of him and, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Or you could just keep him out and keep popping into it. So there's a lot of potential with him. Another card I really like, and I do want to tech into the deck, I just, you know, haven't got it into there yet, is the Altergeist Maluseek. It's got kind of lower attack, but it can attack directly, and when it does, you can target one card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. So, that's a nice little play, and if you're working with some of the other Altergeist stuff, his other effect kind of comes in, but it's not that big of a deal, but he is great removal, working with the direct attack stuff, especially if you're popping with a lot of equip cards and stuff, because he'll get that boost for attack. Another newer card I want to work in is the Altergeist Puratrator. Very similar. He can attack directly as the Maluseek, but instead of sending a card to the graveyard from your opponent's controls, you get to draw one card. So it depends what kind of strategies you're taking. These can work for different routes. You know, if you're trying to maybe get quick play spells in your battle phase, so that do, you know, increase your attack. So you could attack with Altergeist Puratrator, or maybe Arrivals. You know, you're drawing into stuff that you can use in the battle phase to maybe get more attack on something else. Maybe get a second attack off. Who knows what kind of stuff you could tech into. But those are some of the extra ideas I'm working on saucing into the deck. And I do want to do more improvements on this one every once in a while, because it is one of my more favorite decks. I have explained, you know, this was kind of my original ideas when I was running like Rainbow Flower and stuff like that, and like Jinzo number 7s way back in the day. Not knowing how to really put a deck together, but knowing direct attack is pretty powerful, you know, and you can just kind of pass through all their monsters. So there is a lot of potential here, and like I said, let me know if you have any suggestions for the deck. Of course, I got to get more Watt Synchros and such, but let me know what you think could be added. Make sure to check out my other deck profiles. I also do Yu-Gi-Oh! DIY content, you know, recreating dungeon dice monsters, how to make dice, you know, dice towers, how to make ghost foil rares, ghost rare cards, sorry. Lots of stuff like that, as well as other Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, so I recommend you check that stuff out. I also recommend, you know, like, share, and subscribe if you like this stuff. Leave a comment. Hit that little notification bell so you know when future content's coming out, because we do deck profiles and other videos pretty consistently. So like I said, make sure to check that out. Let me know if you have any suggestions for the deck, or any other ideas for future deck profiles, deck updates, deck lists, whatever you like to call them. And otherwise, Thanks for watching. Peace.